How's it going, guys? Matthew Holman here. I'm an aspiring behavioral analyst pursuing a bachelor's in psychology. I have decades of experience in dealing with my own issues, as well as years of experience dealing with extremely dangerous people, as well as extremely vulnerable people. My life goal also is to free vulnerable individuals from narcissistic brain lock prisons. None of this makes me qualified to discuss any of this, but I'm still going to do it anyways, and with a new kind of commentary format with video game footage. Now, today we're going to talk about something quite distressing. It's something I feel most people will go through in their lives at least once if said person happens to have big goals. It's something I've dealt with like 50 times now in my life, and at this point I would say I'm like God-tier status at dealing with this, okay? So much so, I actually look forward to the next smear campaign, as at this point, I see narcissistic smear campaigns like Saw traps, and I am a huge fan of Saw, because you can always work your way out of a saw trap if you're smart. Okay, jokes aside, first things first, let's discuss why you may be in this situation, and what I'd recommend to all of you, even if you are a narcissist. So, smear campaigns are basically what happens when you have a vulnerable individual with usually savant syndrome of sorts, but let's say they're famous, or they're gifted, or they're just infamous, or they're known in some way, or they hold some kind of power socially, or they're just someone striving for a great life in a hood rat environment, surrounded by people who are literally detached from reality. Well, what usually happens is the narcissist, who usually has way too much violating information about you for whatever reason, gets jealous of your progress. Let's say you're a doctor, or you're a newlywed with a beautiful new house, or you're a famous YouTuber or actor, whatever it may be. It usually starts out that the narcissist is very threatened by you, and they want to diminish your light or just silence you with intimidation any way they can. Like I stated, usually they will take information they have stolen from you in a very illegal and violating way, and they will threaten you with it as if, that's just okay to do. I've experienced that one like 20 times now. They will threaten to release information about you. They will make up false allegations about you. They will start a scene and make your life miserable for as long as humanly possible. And they'll usually do this on social media, where it'll be known that your family members, friends, sexual partner, your boss, whoever is on your social media can all see it. Sometimes this isn't done due to a perceived threat, but instead blackmail to get something the narcissist wants. Regardless, usually this leaves you feeling horrible, powerless, self-doubting, and just wanting to quit and give up on life. Now, I'm going to explain what's going on here, how to prevent this, how to ignore this, and some coping mechanisms you can use to not feel so triggered and traumatized by what this person is doing. If you are a victim of this, calm down. It's not a big deal. If you are a victim of this scenario, you can feel safer due to a handful of things. 1. If this is happening to you, then for sure you are dealing with a stupid narcissist. Smart narcissists, who you should actually be afraid of, don't do stuff like this, because they usually have things under control, and if they really wanted to destroy you, they could, and you wouldn't even know what happened. A smear campaign, on the other hand, is a desperate maneuver by someone who feels completely powerless. Whatever the end goal or motivation of the campaign is, it's a stupid act through and through, and the person doing it is not somebody you should worry about or even think about. Let's just say the more persistent the campaign, the more desperate the narcissist. If you should be afraid of anything here, it's the sheer freak show that is the self-destruction you're going to see the narcissists take part in. You will see narcissists do things to themselves in these situations that you would have never thought were even humanly possible. Number 3, there is a 99% chance you're probably going to look back on this experience in a year and laugh at how unimportant and stupid it was. And 4, the narcissist likely does not, inside, feel how they talk about you externally at all, as how the narcissist portrays themselves publicly is entirely different to how they portray themselves privately. Now, what is a smear campaign? Well, for today's scenario, let's use social media as the example. Let's say you're a school teacher who is well respected in your community, and an ex-girlfriend of yours who you really feel is just better off dead due to their abuse comes back into the scene after maybe years like a zombie rising from the grave, sucking you right back into the trauma you managed to escape the first time. Whatever happens from this point, it escalates to the point of a smear campaign being launched against you, usually with the common false allegations like you're a child toucher, you're a groomer, you're an abuser, you're a bad person, etc. Basically, a smear campaign is just an attempt to gossip you to death through character assassination. The first thing I want you to really understand is that generally, most smear campaigns from narcissists are extremely unsuccessful, and after a long period of doing it, it usually only results in the narcissist's own demise. However, that's still not a comforting fact, considering they absolutely can put you through a roller coaster of emotions and hell in the damage they can accomplish before their own demise. Basically, it's like a mental and social murder-suicide. Now, why is this happening? Well, like I said, you pose some kind of threat to a narcissistic structure of some kind, and the narcissist in question downright violently hates you as a result and wants you gone. They can't murder you physically due to legality and, all that nonsense, and they certainly don't want to risk a threat to their own safety and image. So the next best thing is to emotionally confuse, emotionally drain, and essentially emotionally murder you. And what better way to do that than to leak secrets about you or spread false rumors about you where everyone can see on social media? Even if it doesn't work, it'll still cause chaos and confusion, which is a narcissist's ultimate goal. See, they're doing this because they literally believe you are out to get them. They think you know all about the things they've done and that you're going to put them in their true place forever, where they themselves feel they belong. Basically, the goal of a narcissist smear campaign varies greatly depending on severity, but it's generally a very poor attempt to destroy your life. Not necessarily kill you. Narcissists don't want to be liable for something that could shatter their image, so they'll resort to attacking your job, attacking your personal information, threatening you, harassing your family and your friends. The goal is to leave you isolated, depressed, and in a constant cycle of anxiety and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Remember, complex post-traumatic stress disorder is kind of like the virus the zombie narcissist gives you. They do this so you either 1. Submit to them and stop outshining them, 2. Come back to them because they're desperate for your approval and attention, or 3. Kill yourself, or 4. Kill yourself through self-destructive actions, because the narcissist really kind of wants you to be like them. They will probably post horrible reviews about your personality and life, and horrible reviews falsely labeled as other people's opinions about you. It'll be so awful, and you'll feel so bad, but now that we've stripped back what's happening, let's talk about how to prevent it. Ignore it. Narcissists cannot stand being ignored. There have been cases of narcissists ending their own lives due to a target ignoring them. Think about that. Think about how tragic that is, and how, it's a waste of time to even get mad at someone like that. End of the story. Feel the anxiety you feel in your body and your brain, but also understand you need to ignore all attempts to engage. Convince them of anything, discuss emotional topics with them. You need to completely detach as much as humanly possible. That, in turn, will solve, over time, the smear campaign. And I promise you, it'll become nothing more than a bad memory. However, you need to also be aware of your own actions. Just because someone is a narcissist doesn't give you carte blanche to be evil to them, because that makes you a bit of a narcissist. You see how annoying and complicated this is? So just try to be respectful in backing away from the situation, and any attempts to agitate you or flare you up, you need to ignore. Feel the pain in your brain, let it sit there, and just be comfortable for a while being uncomfortable. Lastly, I guess I could discuss some coping mechanisms you could use to remedy some of the issues associated with this situation near instantly. For one, if you're having constant flashbacks of the situation involving the narcissist where you feel powerless, like a small child, like an idiot, and you feel nothing but anxiety, my personal solution from stuff I've tried that works really well is looking at an image of the thing that triggers you, and when you feel that urge or that flashback come on, instead of engaging in a compulsion, you just recognize that this is a traumatic flashback or an OCD compulsion, and you just let yourself feel the pain. You let it happen. It's almost as if you are bodybuilding your brain. It's a similar sensation, even. Basically, let yourself feel pain and emotions rather than building them up, which in turn, over time, can set you free from the compulsions. Remember, trying to suppress traumatizing memories a lot of the time can make it worse, though this takes a lot of practice, and if your trauma is really that extreme, you should only do this kind of stuff with a licensed psychologist, because it could go horribly wrong. Anyways, as for where the narcissist will end up, who knows? And who cares? Stop thinking about the narcissist. The narcissist is probably going to, within a year or two, be completely isolated or doing this all over again to someone else for some petty, stupid reason. If you're a narcissist, I would really suggest not doing this unless you have some kind of legitimate takedown point or large following online to back up your status here, because otherwise what you're doing is humiliating for everyone else to look at. You look like a psychopath, and it's not going to win you any favors. And not just that, an overwhelming majority of smear campaigns fail even if they pick up traction at the start. And keep in mind, I know I can't speak for all people in these situations, but what I've listed in this video are the most common variations of a smear campaign, though the smear campaign is highly complicated and nuanced and can have varying levels of risk associated with it. Sometimes a narcissist might not hate you at all, but just wants to push you away, but not actually destroy you because you threaten their agenda and they're too immature to face you, yada yada yada. There's a billion possibilities. Just try to apply common sense. Happy healing.